Well, live from Philadelphia, it's Mr. Pritchard's Art Room. Hello, and welcome back to the Cassette Tape of the Month Club. What? It's canceled? Well, what are we doing? Teaching art? Okay. We'll do it live. Hello, and welcome back to the classroom, or I should say my kitchen. I'm your host and your teacher, Mr. Pritchard. We're still home doing online schooling, and I hope all my students are doing well and safe. I have something different for you today. We're just going to do some artwork based on words. We're going to take a look at one artist today, and then we're going to get right into the project. So let's take a look at the artist. The artist we're going to be studying today is Stephen Powles. Wait a minute, that is Derek Powers from Batman Beyond. This is the wrong person. Oh, here we go. Here's Stephen Powles. Now, his artwork is made mostly from words and letters. Yes, there is some figurative things in some of them, but majority is words. Here is one of his pieces of artwork called, it's got a door written all over it, again and again and again, in very, very bright colors. Here's another example of a piece of artwork with a door written all over it. Bright cherry red, lemon yellow, blue blueberry. An interesting question for my students. Can you tell me what the word adore means? A-D-O-R-E. One more time. A-D-O-R-E. Adore. Now, some of my students might be yelling out, "That's not art, that's just a bunch of words. Art has to be people or objects, even if these people or objects are abstract." Yet, that's not the case. Art can be made from just words. Let's get back to some Stephen Powles art. Now, some of my students might recognize this piece of artwork from here in Philly. I love how the letters look like childhood letters we would use to play with very bright colors. Written on the side, it says, "If you were here, I'd be home now." Now, these are very, very big murals, these last two. I love this one, how it says "hold tight" within the arms, and the person's arms look like they're hugging someone. Now, this is the style we're going to be working on, putting the words inside of a person. So our project is going to be a person, ourself, made from words. Some of my 8th graders are familiar with this because we did a project similar to this when we did a portrait of our face and put personality traits within it. Now this one's a little different because the words are going to make up the person, such as we just saw with the Stephen Powles mural, that the words were written within the arms. Now, I was saying our artwork is going to be based on us, but let's take a look at some other art. Here's a piece of artwork based on one word. The kangaroo actually makes the word. This game controller is a little bit more difficult. The words fill up what would make the game controller, probably close to 100. This dog is just made from what kind of dog it is. The word is there again and again. Well, this dog's a little different. Has tons of words that describe the dog. That's closer to the style we're going to do. Now, some of you might be saying, "Mr. Pritchard, does our artwork have to be this difficult as this Philadelphia Eagles?" No. Now, this tree is closer to the style of artwork we're going to be making. Now, this one only has one word, but the words actually form the branches, leaves, the bark of the tree, and this is similar to what we're going to be doing to make our persons. Here are the supplies I'm using today. Regular notebook paper. I don't have any blank paper at home. It's all at school. Using a pen, Took out a pencil today. This is an 8B pencil. I don't have any number 2s here. They're all at school. So I'm not worried about erasing today with this pen and pencil. Now I like using the pen because with a lot of pieces of paper, I showed you this before, that when I draw on it, it pushes through a little bit and I can feel my drawing on the back, which is great for my students that can't see. So the first thing we're going to do is come up with a list of words that describe ourselves. Now, I would say minimum is 10 words you should write down. Maximum, well, that's up to you. Now, some of my students are going to have to braille their list out. Now, when you're thinking of these words to describe yourself, you might come up with some things that aren't that big, such as, I like pineapple juice. Now, some of these words might be pretty big in your life, like where you're from. Well, I'm from the state of Florida, so I'm going to put that one down. So I'm going to try to do at least 10 to 15. Might take me a little bit to think about it. So let's get to work on it. Let's get this list going. I'm going to write my name on it. I'll put today's date too. Today is 4/21/2020. Should we put it to art class? Yeah, let's do that. You don't have to number it if you don't want to. I'm just going to start listing things to describe myself. Well, here's my list. I hope you got yours done. I got skateboarder, sensitive, Denver Broncos, Florida, camera, guitar player, artist, pineapple juice, punk rock, funny, caring, brother, FSU, teacher, pasta, movies, hard worker, Philly, cars, cartoons, arcade, quiet, and shy. Again, some of them are simple, such as pineapple juice, Denver Broncos. Some of them are bigger in my life, such as being a teacher, being from Florida, someone that's sensitive, definitely punk rock. So, let's get to work on the drawing now. Let's get to work. Now, I did a practice one also. It helped a little bit to try to figure out how I'm going to put these words inside of a person. I got my list here too. So the first thing I like to start off with is drawing a simple layout of a person. I'm using a pencil to start out with, so I'm not too concerned about the mistakes. Get myself a little oval here on the top for my head. Go down to the neck. Gonna make my body. My students in K1, if you want to make this shape into a rectangle, by all means, my older students should be making more a trapezoid shape. Now for the arms and legs, I'm just going to do a line, kind of have a flow to it, because this is where the words are going to live on. So I don't want to put a lot of details in that. Same thing with the legs. Just going to put a line in there, move it down to the feet. My head's too big. I'll make it a little smaller. We'll fix that later with the pen. So let's start trying to figure out how we're going to fit these words in here. Am I going to use all my list? No. If I don't see a need to fit them, I'm not going to try to. I'm just going to see what works. I'm going to put the word artist from my list right here to make this arm. This arm is going to be sensitive. Let's see. This leg is going to say hard worker. This one's going to be skateboarder. Let's see. It's foot. Philly. Put Florida over here. Let's see. The neck is going to be brother. Across my chest, I'll put the word funny. Cars. FSU. College I went to. My head, I'm going to put teacher. Down here, I'm going to put shy. Oh, across here, I'm going to put a little smaller. Punk rock. Now, if you want, you can add words as fingers. I can make them really small. I can draw these lines again, represent fingers. I could put some of these words in small, like the word pasta as the entire finger. I had arcade. I had quiet. Movies. Word camera. Over here I can put one finger will be pineapple. The next one will be juice. Over here I can put, this finger can be caring. My last two fingers can be the Denver Broncos. Draw a line here if you want for your pants legs. Up to you. You can do the same thing with the hair. If you want to draw the hair and put words within the hair, that's up to you. I've seen some students do that before with portraits. But again, here's my example. I'm going to move on to be working with the pen now to make it a little darker. finished product. Now, I might still work on it a bit, but this gives you an idea of myself as a word project. I hope you had fun today. Make sure you add your name. And remember, my students adding Braille. Yeah, make sure you put it in there. You most certainly can take the Braille and add it to the drawing. I like starting with those simple shapes, like the oval or the square rectangle for the body. I went with a trapezoid, a little bit more complicated. But for the arms and legs, I like starting off with those curved lines. Now, I did more than 10 words because I ended up doing the fingers and things like that. Probably my favorite part, believe it or not, is these curved shapes for the feet. They look kind of interesting that one of my shoes is Florida, where I grew up, and the other shoe is Philly, where I live now. Well, until next time, I hope you're all well, and until next time in Mr. Pritchard's Art Room, you take care.